Rainwater on the elevator mirror. Another long night coming home alone. I watch tired eyes in the reflection, tie loosened halfway down my shirt. The building feels unusually quiet, like everybody already gave up talking. A grocery bag presses on my wrist, takeout cooling in my other hand. Someday survival feels expensive, even when nothing goes wrong. Rainwater on the elevator mirror, street lights fading through the glass, soft jazz drifting through my headphones, trying to slow my mind at last. No dramatic heartbreak follows me, just exhaustion hard to explain, like carrying invisible pressure through every crowded train. Someone left flowers near the lobby, half wilted but still standing tall. A child's drawing tape beside the mailbox, bright colors against tired walls. Funny how little things can help during nights that feel too long. The quiet hallway after midnight, a familiar old jazz song. Slowly, tiny moments stitched together. Rain outside apartment windows, warm rooms protecting fragile hearts. The piano sounds patient tonight, the saxophone bends soft and low. And somewhere inside this silence, I finally stop rushing through my thoughts. Water on the elevator mirror, every floor humming quietly. Every chord untangles another burden, every breath arrives more easily. The apartment door finally closes, the city fades beyond the rain, and somewhere between the jazz and midnight, I begin feeling calm again. The night feels softer now, softer now. Only one lamp still on, the rest of the room fading into shadow. My jacket hangs beside the doorway, still carrying the cold outside. Another overtime evening finished, another crowded train ride home. The sink is full of coffee cups, books scattered near the couch. Life lately feels like unfinished sentences, too tired to figure out. The lamp's still on after midnight, soft jazz moving through the room, trying to loosen all the pressure that followed me home too soon. No need to solve every problem, no need to replay every mistake. Just rain against the apartment window and enough silence for my heart to rest. A voicemail sits unheard on my phone, friends asking if I've been okay. I keep meaning to answer honestly, but the words always drift away. Outside, the traffic moves slower, wet streets reflecting faded signs. The whole city looks emotionally tired, like everybody's surviving one day at a time. Strength is smaller than people think. Maybe it's simply staying kind, even after disappointment, even after exhausting nights. The piano plays soft reassurance, the saxophone bends low and warm, and little by little this heavy feeling starts losing its shape inside my chest. The lamp's still on after midnight, rain tapping gently through the dark. Every note feels like breathing slower, every chord softening my thoughts. The night no longer feels so endless, the room no longer feels so cold. And somewhere between the jazz and rainfall, I remember how to hold myself together again. Stay here a little longer, a little longer. Steam from instant noodles at 2 a.m., filling the kitchen with quiet warmth tonight. My tie hangs loose across the chair, laptop still glowing on the floor. Another unfinished weekday fading into another sleepless morning soon. The apartment smells like broth and rain, street reflections shimmer through the glass. The whole city feels emotionally exhausted, trying to survive another week. pressure that followed me home too soon. No dramatic sadness surrounding me, just emotional fatigue settling deep. So I let the saxophone keep breathing until my heartbeat slows again. A train echoes softly through downtown. Someone laughs somewhere upstairs. Tiny sounds of ordinary living make the loneliness feel less sharp tonight. Funny how simple midnight routines can suddenly feel emotionally safe. Warm soup beside tired hands, and finally nowhere left to rush toward. Quietly in kitchens after difficult days, rain against apartment windows, and music soft enough to hold the weight. The piano sounds calm and patient. The city hum fades soft and low, and somewhere between silence and rainfall, the heavy feeling starts letting go. From instant noodles at 2 a.m. The apartment finally feels warm. Every chord untangles another burden. Every note softens the noise inside. The night no longer feels so endless. The room no longer feels so cold, and somewhere between the jazz and rain, I remember how to rest again. Stay here until morning comes. Until morning. Automatic doors opening slowly, cold air mixing with the smell of coffee. The cashier barely looks up tonight, just scans noodles and bottled tea. A tired couple stands near the freezer, arguing softly about money. I walk the same familiar aisles, like there's comfort hidden somewhere here, between cheap umbrellas and magazines, open 24 hours a day. The convenience store at 1 a.m. feels warmer than my apartment tonight. Soft jazz playing through my headphones, while rainwater covers the sidewalks outside. No dramatic sadness following me, just exhaustion heavy in my chest, trying to borrow a little peace from fluorescent lights and midnight student sleeps near the window seats, still holding notes against her coat. An old man slowly stirs his coffee, watching buses disappear down the road. Funny how lonely people gather in places meant for passing through. Nobody asking personal questions, nobody pretending they're not tired too. Exactly like this. Rain outside a quiet storefront, and finally allowing yourself to breathe. The saxophone bends, soft and patient. The piano answers calm and low, and somewhere between the late night silence, my restless thoughts begin to slow. The convenience store at 1 a.m., street reflections drifting across the floor. Every chord softens the pressure, every note feels safe and warm. The city still moves outside these windows, but inside time barely moves at all. And somewhere between the jazz and rainfall, I stop feeling so alone tonight. The night feels easier now. Easier now. The sound of rain through thin walls. Another sleepless night beginning slowly. Someone upstairs walks back and forth, floorboards creaking after 2. A television murmurs quietly nearby, like the whole building refuses to sleep. I sit cross-legged near the window, holding coffee gone half cold. The city still glowing in the distance, even after everybody disappears inside. The sound of rain through thin walls, soft jazz floating across the room, trying to calm this restless feeling that always arrives too soon. No dramatic sadness surrounds me, just exhaustion difficult to name. So I let the saxophone keep breathing till my thoughts slow down again. A grocery receipt rests on the table, books and tangled chords. Life lately feels like unfinished conversations, always interrupted by another long day. Funny how quiet apartment nights can make hidden feelings rise. Things ignored during crowded mornings return gently after midnight. Healing happens gradually, like rainfall softening concrete streets. Tiny peaceful moments collecting until tired hearts can finally breathe. The piano sounds calm and patient. The city hum fades low and far, and somewhere between silence and music, I stop feeling afraid of being alone. The sound of rain through thin walls, street reflections trembling on the floor. Every chord untangles another burden, every note softens the pressure more. The apartment finally feels warmer, the night no longer feels so long. And somewhere between the jazz and rainfall, I begin finding myself again. The room feels gentle now. Gentle now. Gentle now. Empty bowl in the kitchen sink, rain falling softly outside tonight. Takeout containers near the counter, work papers still inside my bag. I told myself I'd clean everything, but exhaustion settled in too fast. The apartment carries quiet echoes of another difficult weekday. Shoes left beside the hallway light, coffee stains near yesterday's notes. Empty bowl in the kitchen sink, soft jazz floating through the room, trying to loosen all the pressure that followed me home too soon. No dramatic sadness around me, just emotional weight that won't leave. So I let the saxophone keep breathing until my chest feels light again. Rainwater slides across the window, street reflections trembling below. A train moves slowly through downtown like it's too tired to rush tonight. Funny how small ordinary moments can suddenly feel comforting. Warm light right against apartment walls, and finally nowhere else to be. Maybe healing happens quietly, not through grand dramatic change. Just little peaceful nights like this, where the mind slowly untangles pain. The piano sounds calm and patient, the city hum fades soft and low, and somewhere between silence and rainfall, the restless feeling starts letting go. Empty bowl in the kitchen sink, the apartment finally feels warm. Every chord untangles another burden, every note softens the noise inside. The night no longer feels so endless, the room no longer feels so cold, and somewhere between the jazz and rain, I remember how to rest again. Stay here until morning comes. Until morning. Until morning. The apartment still awake, even after everyone else disappeared. A plate drying near the sink, late night news playing low, laundry hanging by the window, street reflections moving slow. I loosen up my tired shoulders, drop my bag onto the chair. Funny how silence feels safer after carrying noise everywhere. The apartment still awake, holding all my scattered thoughts. Soft jazz drifting through the darkness, trying to untie every knot. No big answers waiting for me, no sudden ending to the ache. Just rain outside and steady music, helping my heavy mind slow down again. There's comfort in ordinary things, warm socks against the wooden floor, a half-read book beside cold coffee, the sound of passing cars outdoors. I used to fear being alone here, now the quiet feels less sharp, like maybe peace arrives slowly, one calm evening at a time. maybe strength is smaller than all the movies made it seem. Maybe it's simply staying gentle inside a world that pulls too hard. The apartment still awake, rain tracing patterns on the glass. Every tired breath grows lighter, every tense feeling slowly past. The piano moves like slow conversation, the saxophone answers quietly. And somewhere inside this small room, I begin returning to myself again. The room feels warmer now. Warmer now. Doors closing somewhere down the platform. Another tired night rolling home. Last train nearly empty tonight. Only strangers wearing heavy eyes. A man asleep against the window. Two students talking softly nearby. Rainwater racing down the glass, blurring all the traffic signs. The city feels enormous after midnight, when everybody disappears inside. Carrying all these restless thoughts. Every station passing slowly, like memories I never forgot. I lean back and let the rhythm pull the tension from my chest. For a little while, this quiet movement feels closer to peace than rest. There's a woman reading old receipts, like she's searching for another life. Someone scrolling through old photos, trying not to cry tonight. Funny how this crowded silence makes loneliness feel understood. Nobody asking for explanations, nobody pretending they're good. Gently walking through the rain, a paper cup gone cold beside me. Headlights flicker across the floor, and somewhere deep inside inside the tiredness, I don't feel afraid anymore. Last train before morning, steel tracks humming through the dark. All the pressure slowly fading, like smoke escaping from my heart. The saxophone keeps breathing softly, while sleepy buildings drift behind. And somewhere between this station and sunrise, I finally quiet my mind. Almost home again. Home again. The sound of rain through thin walls. Another sleepless night beginning slowly. Someone upstairs walks back and forth, floorboards creaking after two. A television murmurs quietly nearby, like the whole building refuses to sleep. I sit cross-legged near the window, holding coffee gone half cold. The city still glowing in the distance, even after everybody disappears inside. The sound of rain through thin walls, soft jazz floating across the room, trying to calm this restless feeling that always arrives too soon. No dramatic sadness surrounds me, just exhaustion difficult to name. So I let the saxophone keep breathing until my thoughts slow down again. A grocery receipt rests on the table beside unread books and tangled cords. Life lately feels like unfinished conversations, always interrupted by another long day. Funny how quiet apartment nights can make hidden feelings rise. Things ignored during crowded mornings return gently after midnight. Softening concrete streets, tiny peaceful moments collecting until tired hearts can finally breathe. The piano sounds calm and patient, the city hum fades low and far, and somewhere between silence and music, I stop feeling afraid of being alone. The sound of rain through thin walls, reflections trembling on the floor. Every chord untangles another burden, And somewhere between the jazz and rainfall, I begin finding myself again. The room feels gentle now. Gentle now. Take out boxes by the window, rain sliding slowly down the glass tonight. Soy sauce packets near the ashtray, work notifications lighting up my phone. I leave them unanswered for a while, pretending the world can wait tonight. The apartment feels emotionally quiet after carrying noise all day long. Even the old ceiling fan above me turns softer with this jazz song. Take out boxes by the window, soft jazz filling up the room, trying to loosen all the pressure that always follows me home too soon. No dramatic heartbreak surrounding me, just exhaustion difficult to explain. So I let the saxophone keep breathing until my chest feels light again. Rainwater gathers near the balcony, street reflections moving slow below. A taxi disappears through downtown traffic like another memory drifting off. Funny how lonely little evenings can still feel emotionally warm when soft music fills empty spaces and nobody asks you to be strong. Maybe healing looks this ordinary, dim kitchen lights after midnight rain, plastic chopsticks beside cold coffee, and finally no need to pretend. The piano sounds calm and patient, the city hum fades soft and low, and somewhere between silence and music, the heavy feeling starts letting go. Take out boxes by the window, the apartment finally feels calm. Every chord untangles another burden, every note softens the noise inside. The night no longer feels so endless, the room no longer feels so cold, and somewhere between the jazz and rainfall, I remember how to rest again. Stay here a little longer, a little longer. 3:27 in the morning, still awake on the sofa again. Laptop light still glowing faintly, emails waiting in another tab. The living room feels smaller lately, like the walls remember every bad day. A delivery receipt on the table, cold tea losing all its steam. The television talks to nobody while I drift between thoughts and dreams. Sleepless on the sofa, rain rolling softly through the night, trying to untangle all the pressure still carried deep inside. No loud heartbreak or disaster, just exhaustion wearing me thin. So I let the piano keep playing until my breathing slows again. Cars pass slowly through the avenue, their headlights sliding across the floor. Somewhere people are still working, somewhere somebody just got home. I think about calling old friends, then decide the silence feels enough. Not every lonely moment needs saving. Sometimes quiet itself is a love. Maybe healing starts this way, small ordinary nights alone. Learning rest is not a weakness, learning tired hearts deserve a home. The rain keeps steady conversation, the saxophone answers in blue tones, and little by little the tension fades from places I never noticed before. Sleepless on the sofa, but the room feels warmer now. Street reflections blur together, like worries losing shape somehow. The jazz record turns slowly softer, every chord loosening my mind. And somewhere between the rain and silence, I finally stop fighting the night. Morning can wait outside. Wait outside. Second floor vending machine, still glowing quietly after midnight. I came downstairs for canned coffee, mostly just to clear my head. everybody's laundry soap again. A flickering light near the mailbox buzzed softly above the stairs. The whole building felt half asleep, still carrying everyone's tiredness. Second floor vending machine, cold coffee warming up my hands, soft jazz floating through my headphones, like somebody finally understands. No loud heartbreak in this moment, no dramatic ending to survive, just emotional exhaustion fading slowly while the rain keeps passing by. A delivery bike stopped outside, then disappeared into the storm. Somewhere a television laughed too loudly behind another apartment door. Funny how cities stay awake even when people feel worn thin. Millions trying to keep moving while quietly falling apart within. Maybe comfort hides in small places, plastic buttons glowing in the dark, a quiet hallway after overtime, and finally hearing your own heart. The saxophone bends low and gentle, the piano answers calm and slow, and somewhere between the jazz and rainfall, the pressure finally starts letting go. Second floor vending machine, street reflections moving through the glass. Every chord softens another worry, every breath feels lighter at last. The night no longer feels so heavy, the room no longer feels so cold, and somewhere between the rain and silence, I remember how to carry myself again. Stay here a little longer. A little longer. A little longer. town streets. The night finally slowing down. Office lights stayed on too long. My shoulders still remember the weight. Another train ride full of strangers, too tired to look each other in the face. I drop my keys beside the counter, heat water for another cup. The city keeps making noise outside, but in here everything softens up. Raincoat by the door, coffee warm in both my hands, soft jazz floating through the apartment like somebody understands. No need to explain this tired feeling, no need to force another smile. Just rain against the living room window and permission to rest a while. The fridge hum fills the empty kitchen, old magnets hanging slightly crooked. A message sits unread on my phone. Some conversations take too much tonight. I watch headlights move across the ceiling, slow and distant through the storm. Funny how quiet little moments can make loneliness feel warm. Maybe healing moves this slow. One peaceful night at a time, one deep breath, letting tension go. The rain keeps falling without hurry. The saxophone answers back, and somewhere inside this silence, my heartbeat finds a softer path. Raincoat by the door, street reflections blur and fade. The pressure slowly leaves my body like heavy clouds drifting away. Every note feels like reassurance, every chord untangles my mind. Somewhere between the rain and music, I leave the hardest thoughts behind. Tomorrow can wait a little longer, a little longer. Last cup of automatic doors slide open slowly, cold air mixing with the smell of bread. A student sleeps near the magazine rack, still wearing headphones in her dreams. The cashier looks emotionally exhausted, counting coins without lifting his eyes. Everybody here feels half awake, trying to survive another night. Last cup of convenience store coffee, soft jazz flowing through my headphones, trying to settle all the pressure that followed me back home. No dramatic heartbreak waiting here, just exhaustion difficult to explain. So I let the piano keep speaking while rain keeps falling downtown. A delivery driver warms his hands near the microwave beside the drinks. An office worker stares through the window, lost somewhere inside her thoughts. Funny how these quiet little places can feel emotionally safe at night. Nobody asking complicated questions, nobody pretending, everything feels fine. Chairs and fluorescent light, rainwater running down the storefront glass, and finally nowhere left to rush tonight. The saxophone bends soft and patient, the city hum drifts calm and low, and somewhere between the jazz and silence my crowded thoughts begin slowing down. Last cup of convenience store coffee, street reflections trembling on the floor. Every chord untangles another burden, every note softens the noise inside. The rain outside no longer feels lonely, the night no longer feels so cold, and somewhere between the music and midnight I remember how to breathe again. Stay here until the rain slows down. Slows down. Slows down. Quiet TV light in the living room, blue shadows moving across the walls tonight. I left the television running just to make the apartment feel alive. Another frozen meal on the counter, another late train barely made on time. The couch still carries yesterday's blanket. Coffee rings resting near old books. Life lately feels like unfinished thoughts, too tired to explain out loud. Quiet TV light in the living room, soft jazz flowing through the air, trying to calm all the heavy feelings that followed me home from everywhere. No dramatic sadness surrounding me, just emotional noise that won't slow down. So I let the saxophone keep breathing until my thoughts settle softly now. Rainwater gathers near the balcony, street reflections trembling below. A delivery bike cuts through the silence, then disappears into the storm. Funny how adulthood feels sometimes like carrying an invisible weight, smiling through crowded conversations while quietly running low inside. Peaceful moments after dark, warm socks sliding across old wood floors, and finally listening to your own heart. The piano sounds patient tonight, the city hum drifts far away, and somewhere between the rain and music I stop fighting the exhaustion for a while. Quiet TV light in the living room, the apartment finally feels calm. Every chord untangles another burden, every note softens the tension inside. The night no longer feels so endless, the room no longer feels so cold, and somewhere between the jazz and rainfall, I remember how to rest again.